Hi guys. Hey Stephen, Ted, g'day. Mark, hello. Craig, hello, and Tommy. G'day John. Matty, good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. Thinking of you, mate, down there. Hope everything's going okay. Anyone else who's got fire updates, don't be afraid to let us know. Hope you're doing okay. Gary, g'day. Big thanks for the other day, Gary. Really appreciate that. Everett, good to see you. Hi, John. Yeah, pretty scary video, Maddie. If I've been, I've been asked a lot whether there's any fire problems here, and no, there isn't really. It's pretty warm. I'd like to think it's going to rain, but I'm not sure it will. But we need a fair bit of rain to make a lot of difference. But I know we're not going to get enough. But go and check out Maddie's workshop. Latest video. Hope he's doing okay. Yeah, Everett turns up occasionally. We've seen him a few times. So what's the news? Big news. Apologies for last week. I guess you all need a break anyway, and I spent most of the week in bed sick, but I'm back on top, so that's good. Good to see you, Kevin. Nice engine build, Kevin. Looks like pretty good. You've got that well under control. Go and check out Machine NZ. There's a new petrol engine build started there. Now, the weekend's not shaping up good at all, Maddie. If there's anything anyone can do, let us know. Anything at all, just drop us a message, Matt. Owe you a favour. If there's anything I can do, let me know. What's news? New book today. How cool's that? 40 power tools you can make. 8 inches of rain, Maddie. That's coming, or it's been, or are you wishing for it, or what's the story there? It's a wish, yeah. You can help if you can help, yeah. That's good. All of these will kill you, probably in varying degrees. This is a pretty fun book. I only bought it for the fun, the fun factor, really, and no intention at all of building anything in this book. Just so you know. Once upon a time, I bought a bandsaw that looked very similar to this one, which is a homemade bandsaw with pipe fittings and auto parts. Wasn't much good, really. Spent a couple $100 on it, and I think it's still at home somewhere. But probably wants tossing. Is the reality. I only bought this for fun. Make a thickness sander with a wood lathe. And make a scroll saw out of an old sewing machine. Very depression style. Pretty good fun book. And I'll probably read it, and it won't be a bad thing if it moves on. So It's a scroll saw with a sewing machine upside down. So yeah, Colin Firth's grandfather. That's kind of pretty cool. Gary, that's an awesome book. Crazy because it gives you all these ambitions to make things, but just guard against that. Hey Warren, hope you're doing okay. So I'm not sure that drill press is made out of pipe fittings and cast bearings and things are really much good, but pretty good fun book. I'm going to have a read of that and see what happens with it then. 40 power tools you can make from Popular Mechanics Press. Amazing low cost. The belt sand, the drum sand is pretty dangerous looking thing. It looks like it probably would kill you, but anyway. Power tools are all electric. How cool is that? How to drive your hacksaw electrically. High-speed cut-off wheel saws metal quickly. I bet. I'm somewhat cynical. Metal turning lathe for model makers, mostly angle iron. Altered pistons form sturdy grinder head. It's not a bad looking little bench grinder, but it's more messing about than it's worth. Motorized hand plane. The wood shaper. It's all there. Homemade wood lathe mounted on a floor stand. Looks pretty good if you've got big enough sections of timber. Good fun. There is no safety. That's not really a factor. Put a smaller motor on and a looser belt. Model Engineer come today too. It's a really good, nice little build in here, which I really like. There's Muncaster simple entablature engine. This has been converted to metric and modernised. It's a nice looking build. Jason Bellamy has revisited this engine as Muncaster simple entablature engine. No pictures in this one, unfortunately. I had every intention of looking at the original series in the book and the original series in Model Engineer, which was about 1902. Harold Muncaster, he had quite a series of high-speed model engines that were really kind of real proper engines, and that was a first for Model Engineer back in 1901, 1903. They were proper, meant to do work engines, and some of them were fairly big, but the little entablature engine was a beginner's engine, and it was quite a pretty upside down engine with the piston underneath and the flywheel on top. Nice build. If anyone's looking for a fairly sweet little engine to build without too much effort, that looks like a good build. Anyway, article 2 on where is it? Tony Bird on Wax Chucks. If you follow Tony Bird on YouTube, you probably should. If you don't, make some pretty cool model steam and so forth and so on. That's a fairly interesting article on basically on super glue chucks and what you can get away with and what you can't. Good magazine. Get it at KO. Well, it comes every couple of weeks, but you very rarely see it on this channel. Hey, Dennis. Hence the accent there, Craig. Oh, that's awesome, Gary. Hey, Dennis. I say that. Other thing I've been messing with Marty, Matty's workshop put this deal in place so that I couldn't refuse it, and I've finally, it's here and I've sort of paid for it, so I can start doing some work. But this is my little L model launch lathe. Pulled it apart and cleaned some of these bits up. This tailstock's pretty good. It's got a bit of a tight spot in here, and I'm probably going to hone the quill a bit just to get rid of it, because I think it's got a burr or something on it. Spend some time just getting that right. But apart from that, it's pretty good tailstock. These bearings look good. Don't know if anyone is familiar with these. Hey, Casual. And how they work. They're all a little bit different. This one's got some surprises in here. I think it's all original. It's just that over the time, actually that's a press fit there, so it's not coming off. But thanks for checking in, John. We'll catch up with you. This has got a cone bearing in here, a steel bearing in here, and a cone bearing in here that's adjustable, and a thrust race here, which is actually plastic on the big launch, because we've replaced that recently and it seems to have settled in really nice. Really pleased about that. And this is just a round belt pulley. Probably some of them had an index plate in the back here, which worked off a bolt that was in here, an index pin. This one's never been fitted, obviously, but this is all in pretty good condition. These could do with a bit of a dress up. They seem to have a few ridges in that front one, and that one's not too bad, but this one's got a few visible ridges. But whether I get that cylindrical ground, or whether I just leave well enough alone, or whether I just put it together and run it in, I'm not sure. This one here, of course, has got some problems. Some idiot Hey, Dan. Some idiot has hit this with the bench grinder or something. I don't know what they've done. They've taken a fair bit out of here, and this should be something very similar to this radius here on this end and all the way through, and quite a lot thicker all through. So I think I'm going to use probably Debcon and clean that up and tidy it up, get it back to where it needs to be. Not real sure about that, and it probably really doesn't need to be done, but it looks a bit ugly. William, you're spot on. William, it is butchery. This is a beautiful machine. Bearings and everything look fantastic. So I don't want to have to mess around with these bearings. So heating this is out of the question. It really is. I don't want to have to resort these bearings out and scrape the bottom here and get everything lined up again. It's not something I like. The reason they've done it is because they're too useless to put the motor up on a stand. This lays about 8 inches off the bench, and it should have a the correct lay shaft drive for it should be up level with the lathe or a little bit higher, or probably even overhead. And someone's bolted the motor right on the bench and it's touched here, so they've spent the time and sanded that down. Hi, Troy. So I'm not really even a little bit, hey Raymond, a little bit impressed with that, but the price on this machine was good, so it's worth getting right. And I think what I'm just going to do is fill this up with DevCon or Belzona or plastic metal or something, get some good stuff, which isn't going to be cheap, and file it all up and clean it up and put a coat of paint on it, and no one will ever know. That just take the bit of resonance out of there, because I think at speed you're going to get some harmonics here that you never had with the full thickness casting. So that's the only real reason, and that and aesthetics. So we'll see how we go with that. Whether not real sure what I'm going to do with these bearings. Maybe they get lapped in, maybe I'll make a wooden lap for them and put them together. Not sure yet, but it wants fixing properly. If I do epoxy it, and I probably will, I'll buy the complete system. I'll buy the... Good to see you, Dennis. Good, glad you checked in. I hope you're doing okay. If I go Belzona or DevCon or whatever, I'll buy the complete system, and I'll buy the primer and the key, the etchant and all that sort of stuff, and do it properly. So it's probably a $300 repair, but it's probably worth getting right. Messing around with JB Weld and body filler or something, it really doesn't fill me with a lot of glee, actually. And I would like this lathe to be going back at 2500 RPM, which is where it should be and where it was originally according to the book. So it's a bit of work, but I'd like to get 2500 out of it. And to do that, everything's got to be spot on and not too many harmonic issues or missing metal. So we'll see how we go with that. But that's the ambition with that. So that's sort of a work in progress. It's not particularly ambitious at the moment. It will happen. We'll see. These two little nuts here with the slit nuts, I'm not sure whether I'm going to do something about making them better or improving them or remaking them or what. I'm not sure yet. If I do that, Craig, there's all sorts of things that are going to need to be addressed. You're going to need to scrape the bottom of it, and we're going to have to get everything sitting nice on the... I just don't want to heat it, I think. That's where I'm at with it. I really don't want to heat it and heat up the nice German cast iron. I believe these bearings are probably integral, so I'm reluctant to do anything that's going to damage the surface finish on them either. So we'll see. Hey Anthony, good to see you. You're right, nothing's going to match bronze, but anyone want a job? The spec sheet for it when it was new was about 5 microns run out all over. So yeah, good luck. I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone and fix it. But the original spec sheet in the book says 1500, 900, I think, to 2250 RPM is what it's supposed to get out of it with a 6-speed box. We'll see about that. That's really, we'll see. I know Stefan would, but I'm not gonna put him through that. Poor guy. Not gonna put anyone through that. I'm just going to fix it the best we can and get it back at it going and running again. It's a pretty good little lathe. And it's very, very good lathe. Hope you're feeling a little bit better, Anthony. I just priced a tub of Devcon. 500 grams was about 150 Australian dollars plus primer, etc., etc., etc. So you're looking at a few dollars. They used to make a cast iron one, which was probably what I would use, but I think they've stopped making it now. So if anyone knows any different, and whether they do make the cast iron one, hit us up. Let me know. Hey, Max, good to see you. Some good ideas coming out there. Anyway, the other thing that I've done, I got sidetracked on these because I got sick, but before Christmas I started these and got them half finished. These are my they used to be plastic. These are 01, which is kind of overkill. Like, I've got 0. You don't have to tell me that. This is kind of overkill here. It's a bit of work in these and getting them right. Especially on a little mill that's a bit under spec and also a bit worn out when you start doing heavy work like this. But we got them. All these facets and things are pretty easy work. It's one cut through here and one cut through there, and the mill just sails away with it. Chopping the middle out of these was a bit sort of nerve-wracking. The first one I did, actually, oops, whoa! First one I did, I actually chopped out the piece with a slitting saw, and that seemed like a lot of hard work, so I just chopped them out, milled them out after that. Probably it would have been sensible just to continue like this because it wasn't as big a job as it really looked. Hope you're feeling better, Anthony, pretty soon. Yeah, Kevin, I could, but I'd rather use the complete system and the proper system that's not going to fall out or come loose or cause or shrink or anything like that. So that's where I'm at with that. Robert, g'day. So these go on here, something like this, I hope. That's the theory. I'm going to have to get a couple of die springs, decent die springs, to match them up. And why ever I thought I'd make 4 of them, I'm not sure. But there we go. Might make 2 about sort of 20 mil, 3/4 of an inch high, and two about 40-50 millimeters high. So checked out the hardness against a commercial clamp. The ones I've got are pretty hard. Probably brass would have been a smart thing to make these out of. Plenty good enough. But this one here is, I'm going to harden these and then temper them back to probably, I said 55 in the video, but probably I'm going to temper them back to 48, 50, something like that. It'd be a nice place to have them. They don't want to be real hard. They don't want to bend. And they don't want to bust off when you tighten them down. So that was a lot more work than expected, but it's probably the hardest part of the whole build. So they're done. The rest we're not going to make out of 01. That's just crazy talk. What else is going down? You don't want them to be brittle, Max. That's exactly right. And Willem, that's probably a really good point too. I'm probably going to temper them right back to, they want to be solid, but they don't want to scratch up or bang or get tooling marks in them or get hold down marks in them where the bolts go on. But they're only going to be probably 45, 48, 50 Rockwell, if that, which you can probably nearly still file. I think they're fairly interesting too, Everett. They're kind of crazy. We'll see how we go with that. These parts are still very much in the prototype stage. This is a modification of the original. I've gone a bigger diameter. This is sort of a failed print, but with a slot, if we can see that way to go in the slot, and then they're a bigger diameter, so we can put an 8mm bolt all the way through. They've got plenty of purchase grip. Stairs, what I'm going to do with this, without giving too much away, what I'm going to do is cut a piece of stock with enough on it for a boss, and then I'm going to set them up in the 4-jaw off center so that this is on center in the back here, and I'm going to machine a boss on here that I can grip in the 3-jaw chuck, and then I can grip that in the 3-jaw chuck. I can machine this out here all the way through, and I can machine the outside, and then we should have a piece something like that. What I do about cleaning this up, I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking about this. And then I can grip that in the rotary table and kick that over the right amount and machine each step around like that. That's the theory on that. This one, much the same. I'm going to leave a boss on the back here and machine most of this out of here, and then we can slice that off and set that up and put that slot in there, and I pin cross holes for a pin, and we can chop this one off here and machine it flat too. So that's the theory. That's where we're at. I'm probably going to make these out of 1214 or leaded cheap steel, and then case harden them. I think is probably the smart way to do it, something like that. I could just make them out of 4140 or something, but it looks like a lot of hard work, and I'm sort of all for not spending 200 hours on the mill chopping out 4 of these. So, hey Mike, good to see you. Braise the boss on so you can get off easy. That's probably not a bad idea either, John. I might think about that. Stephen, what we're going to fill the headstock up with, I haven't got a clue. And casual. These are staircase clamps or step clamps for metal, for hold downs for the mill. So that's what these are for. Sorry about your net. Anyway, that's all work in progress. We've got a box of bits here. The mill needs a little bit of work. This is the adjustable stop I was using, and this is stripped basically. So I'm going to need to make a couple more of these bolts and a nut with an offset so you can get a spanner on it, or a longer nut, I think is probably the best thing. That's another project that I really wasn't looking for needing to make, but it looks like it's something we need because it's something I use all the time. They just go on the apron as their end stops, and for repetition work like this you need them really. So that's another project. Gary, I think, pointed out it's pretty good stuff. DevCon's probably better than JB Weld. In the right circuit conditions and the right application, it'll probably hold a decent thread. It's not bad stuff. Gary pointed out that my mill table's rocking about a bit, and it is too. Now, cutting these slots, that's pretty hard work on a little horizontal mill, because you're cutting against the top of the cut here one way, and you can't really bolt the mill down. When you lift the table up, you've got an air gap somewhere, so that's why we're getting that backwards and forwards rock. It's probably fixable, but it's just another job that needs to be done. Max, send them across. Happy to run them through the oven. Can't guarantee results, but happy to do it. And that it stands for anyone. I'd be happy to heat treat stuff for you if you're local. So the mill needs a bit of work, that's all. The movement, some of the movements in my camera. Other parts of my movement is in the table, and the reason it's in the table, especially cutting these slots, if you notice, is that we're working against the top of the slot there, and basically it's lifting and pulling the table down rather than lifting it up, and that's not really ideal. So we're going to have to think about that, and probably the smart thing would have been to machine one side and then flip them over and machine the other side and fix that problem, but we didn't get to that. Now, another thing, this is a bit exciting. I'm gonna fix this stupid arm here. Hang on. There we go. It's how can you be subscribed to 5 million channels? I find that a lot of the channels I'm subscribed to don't actually add content. I try and get everyone who is like I'm likely to chat through the course of the week or on here. But apart from that, there's a lot of YouTube I just don't see. Anyway, I've got 12 of these. These were offcuts. They're bar ends, really. And they're brass. They're decent quality brass. Don't know what they are, really. But there's 12 of them. Right? Now, I'm going to post these out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to post them overseas, I've decided, because these are about half a kilo each, right? There's a bit of weight in them, right? I'm not going to post them overseas, I've decided. I really thought long and hard about this, and there's some people that I would love to see involved in this, but not going to do it. There's 12 of them there. I'm going to keep one. Now, what I'd like to do is something along the lines of Secret Santa rules. So if I send these to 12 Australian creators, and then we pick a name out of a hat and you send whatever you make onto the next creator. So whether you make a tool or whether you make a sculpture or whether you make a box or you include it in something else, or whether you use this or whether you use other parts, or whether you make a puzzle, there's 1,000 things you could do. Take it easy, Anthony. So anyone who's in, I'm going to be sending an email out in the next couple of weeks. Happy to post them on, but you're going to have to post them on to the next person. So I think that's probably the fair and fun way to do it. We didn't get a Secret Santa on the YouTube group this year. Anyone who might be in, you can say yes or no, and be honest about that. If you haven't got time, you haven't got patience, whatever, say no. And there's plenty of others to step up. But I'm going to post these out, and we're going to use a hashtag, and we're going to have a bit of fun with them. And I reckon you can decide what you want to make out of them. Freeform, I don't really care. But you'll end up with a name to post your particular project onto. So that might be a lot of fun, I think. It's not Christmas time, but it might be nice to make something for someone else. And there might be a bit more enthusiasm about getting things finished. I know everyone's got plenty of time and nothing else to do. So next few weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, month maybe, look out for an email from me, you Australian guys, because if you're in, you're in. And that might be a fun thing to do. Machine NZ, Kevin, I will be in touch about that. My mill is a Centec Model 2, 1946. There you go, Casual. Willem, email me. Yeah, Machine Kevin, you look like you're probably in Australia. Anyway, that's the update on this. I've also sent out some Christmas presents to some of you guys. So if anyone gets a Christmas present from me, shout me out. Apart from that, that's cool. What else is happening since we've since we've had a live stream. Oh, John Creasy. John Creasy posted a video on building a lightsaber, so go and check that out. Go and subscribe to his channel. This is the figure that he's got to beat at the moment. Looking up there's 57.35, I think it was tonight. So there you go. We know we can do it. But if you subscribe to him, make sure you subscribe to me too. But really good video on making a water sprinkler. Worth going and having a look at, no matter what you're into. Something for everyone. Who else? Who else is on here that's made good videos? Recently. What's Everett been up to? Haven't seen an update from him. I'm sure there is one. Haven't seen Craig's bandsaw finish yet. Tom's power feed's looking pretty good. Go and check out those videos. What's Julian HG onto? What's your channel about, Julian? Casting and making. We'll go and check it out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, what else is happening? Not very much, probably. I think that's about it. We haven't done too bad. It was 42 minutes. Gosh. Next job for me on these, and there will be a video, is to make these T-nuts. I'll make them up at a 4140 and just leave them soft. I don't think they want to be hard to grip the T-slots. I think they'll be fine, and just blew them up. That's awesome. That's awesome, Everett. I've got one half made. It hasn't happened. I guess when I need to cut a keyway, it'll probably be finished. Really enjoying that series on R8 tooling. Max, that's awesome. Making the gauge for that is very, very interesting. Good video from Rustanox too. I did send him a sticker. If he's watching this, he probably hasn't got it yet, but I did send it. So we're all pretty clever, creative looking bunch, really. We do some cool stuff. I hope he's all right, Everett. I really do. It's not much fun. You've been up all night. I haven't seen Chirpy, speaking of being up all night, but we'll catch up sometime. Anyway, that's what I'm up to. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the love on my latest video. I really appreciate that. It's a pretty crappy video, but I thought I'd better cut some footage and actually make something. So that's where we're at with that. Don't expect a build out of this. Not going to happen. And don't expect Muncaster's entablature engine anytime soon either. That's not going to happen. There's plenty else to go on with, and I've got way too many projects on the go at the moment. I've ordered the X slide for the mill, so that's something we're going to have to do something about. And what else did I order? Oh, some bits from Netherlands, from courtesy of Gary C. So big thanks for that, and hopefully they'll be here next week. That might be fun. So maybe you could make the tie. Yeah, they've all wearing the tie, and it's usually a striped tie, old school, etc., etc., etc. The drill press of the tie just doesn't. It makes me nervous. It really does. It's a bit scary. I'm going to watch Chirpy's video now. Take care, everyone. More soon. Be kind to each other. Thoughts anyway. I don't know whether praying's really the right diet. Whoever you pray to, but go check out Matty's channel and his latest video on the fires. It is a bit scary, but he's down there where it's between a rock and a hard place, and there's not many places to go. So go and check that out. Matty's workshop. You need to see that. And apart from that, more soon. I'm out.